Hey, Coach Andrew here, and in this video, we're going to be covering how the mind-body connection affects insomnia. If you've ever felt stuck, like your mind wants to sleep, but your body won't allow you to, what you're about to hear may change the way you see everything. And by the way, this is a clip from one of my private group coaching sessions, so let's jump in. Today, we're talking about insomnia and the mind-body connection, from ancient knowledge to modern science. So ancient healing systems like Ayurveda from India, traditional Chinese medicine, and the old school Greek medicine treated the body and the mind as one unit, as inseparable. And they knew that everything affected everything else. And the Greek physician Hippocrates, who they call him the father of modern medicine, I think is his nickname, he believed that emotional balance affects physical health. And indigenous cultures always emphasize breath, rhythm, and ritual for healing. And this is how humans did this for all time until the modern age. And ultimately, what happened was there was a divide. And in the 1600s, the philosopher Descartes introduced dualism, which is a separation of the mind and the body. And from this point, this is where surgeries, the concepts of anatomy, and reductionist science led to ignoring emotional and mental states. And they changed mental struggles to be called psychological, and physical struggles were now called medical. And so this happened around the 1600s. And as medicine became more scientific, the focus turned to organs, pathology, and fixing the body like a machine. So they consider each organ to be on its own, each body part to be on its own. And unfortunately, this has led to blind spots that still affect how we treat things today, specifically like insomnia. Now, what was the cost of this disconnection? Well, today we have huge increases in chronic illness that have emotional roots, like anxiety, insomnia, irritable bowel syndrome, all these problems that people have now. And stress and trauma are often being dismissed even when people are having issues with their body, like present themselves, right? And so people feel broken or misunderstood when their symptoms don't match lab results. So this is very common with insomnia, that people will go to sleep studies and talk to their doctor and talk to specialists, and they do all these tests, and they'll say, yeah, medically, you're perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to sleep at all. And then what they'll do is they'll give you some advice, right? That usually doesn't amount to much. And then even worse, they'll prescribe you sleep medication, which, as we know, leads down a whole nother rabbit hole of problems. So when people feel invalidated or misdiagnosed, it adds another layer of stress and helplessness, which, of course, we know now makes insomnia much worse. It's like the main thing is the helplessness. And I talk to people all day. They literally believe that there is no possible way that they can fix their sleep. And I have to I have to talk them through that and be like, look,
Right.
it's not a possibility to lose your ability to sleep. It's just, there's a few things that are getting in your way. And it's funny because it's not that much in the way, but
Yeah.
unless you have the whole picture, it seems like this huge mountain that you have to overcome. It's very difficult from the poor sleeper's perspective, right? So fortunately, conditions like insomnia are now understood to be deeply tied to emotional states and nervous system regulation. That's the main thing. Now, recently, science has caught up and is now agreeing with ancient wisdom, and we've begun to reunite the mind and body connection. And this has led to new discoveries like neuroplasticity, which means that your thoughts can literally physically change the structure of your brain. And they've you can see on the scans how this actually happens. Also, they've discovered psychoneuroimmunology, which basically just means that your emotions affect your immune system. So typically people with serious health problems are also depressed, highly anxious, and the question is like, does one cause the other? Yeah, they both interconnect, you know? But the good news is that they've also discovered this vagus nerve which connects your brain to every single organ in the body. And here's the crazy thing. Stress in your brain can affect your organs. And also, if your organs are having problems, it will then affect your brain and your mind. So everything is connected. And now modern science is really starting to catch up to this and looking, to help people with both. So it's a really good thing. We're at a really good place as far as that's concerned. Now, stress, hyperarousal, and sleeplessness. So this is an example of this mind-body connection affecting our sleep. So we know that chronic stress, which is in your mind, triggers hyperarousal, which is a physical state, and the body then stays alert when it should be resting. And thoughts about sleep can also lead to physical sensations in the body: tight chest, increased heart rate, sweating, all these different things, having to go to the bathroom a million times a night, right? And this is just a clear visual demonstration of how our mind and body affect each other. And it's very evident when it comes to sleep. Now, the path back. They're freaking doing construction outside my apartment. So, reconnecting the mind and the body. So, the first step is to understand that our thoughts can affect our body in the first place, which we're clearly there. Practices like breath work, meditation, and Qigong can go a long way in reconnecting the body and the mind. But oftentimes, it's not enough, right? You also have to know why you're doing what you're doing. Just doing it for the sake of doing it is great, but if you don't have the right intention, then it can become a sleep effort. And then it becomes another problem because now you're meditating not because you enjoy meditating, but because you were told that it will help you sleep. So you're like, okay, I'm going to meditate tonight and I'm going to sleep. And then it doesn't happen. And then you're like, well, meditation doesn't work. But it was just the intention that was off. Being kind to ourselves and doing things we enjoy without guilt also strengthens this connection. Now, how does this all heal your sleep in the long term? Well, as we know, sleep improves when your body feels safe and your mind is calm. So having a strong mind body connection and understanding, all those mechanisms and how they work together will allow you to be able to shift between the alertness, awake state and the calm, relaxed state quickly, right? Because you're confident in what you're doing, you understand how the mechanisms work, and therefore you can make that transition effortlessly, right? And you can just allow it to happen how it's supposed to happen. Okay. Now, the more you practice this, the more confident you become in your ability to sleep. And then ultimately you reach a point where you're like, I don't ever need to think about sleep again. Like, I got it now. I know how it works. I'm not afraid anymore. And then ultimately, like you said, like the best realization is that even if you don't sleep, like it's no big deal. You're
Right.
going to be fine the next day and you might be a little bit more tired, but like there's no reason to worry about it. In fact, you might as well just put it to the back of your mind and just keep going because it has no bearing on your life. And that's just such a powerful realization, uh, especially for people struggling with sleep. So, with all that said, got some bonus tips. So, always remember that the breath is your instant link between your body and your mind. And if you control your breathing, you can control both. Okay. When we're stressed, we tend to breathe very shallow in the chest area and very quickly. And what's crazy is that this is like a side note, but I've heard that when people are very close to death, their breath rate is like very fast.
Yeah.
It's like the last thing that happens. Um, and I believe the reason why is because the through breathing. It's like a way that we expel, like it's a way that our nervous system regulates itself, right? So um, it's like panicking, right? So it's trying to get a lot of oxygen really fast. And you can always just, if you find that happening, you can always just stop for a moment, take a very slow, deep breath, and that will reestablish that connection, and it will cause the nervous system to find balance and calm you down. And you can do that anytime, for any reason, anywhere. And so the breath can always give you a clue to how your nervous system is at that moment, right? And then if you want to control it, you just slow the breath down. It's very simple. And to recap, ancient wisdom saw the mind and body as one. Modern medicine split them. Science now acknowledges, though, that thoughts and emotions do impact the body and sleep. Stressful thoughts do trigger arousal, which keeps the body too alert to rest. And breath work, movement practices, and doing things we enjoy calm the nervous system and strengthen the mind-body connection. If today's video resonated with you and you feel that little spark inside that's saying, maybe, just maybe, I could finally leave my insomnia behind for good, I invite you to click the link in the description and book a one-on-one call with me. On this call, we'll go over where you are now, what you're struggling with, and ultimately create you a roadmap so that you can get where it is that you want to go. You don't have to figure this all out on your own. So if that's you, click the link in the description and book a call with me. Hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.